Hey guys, it's Fee, and I owe you a TTC update. I meant to record one last week, and I didn't get around to it, so I am doing last week's events and today's events, which I will get to in a minute, all in one video, so stick around. Hopefully this won't take too long. I have a little note here of everything I want to say, because my memory has been failing me these days, so hopefully I'll remember everything I want to say. And I kind of have it written down in timeline order so that I don't get completely discombobulated and you guys don't get lost. All right, so here we go. The last time I did a TTC update, I told you my body was running out of schedule, and it looked like the stimming was going to be starting like a week early. I believe that was where I left you off. And that is exactly what happened. My stimming started on Monday, October 24th. And that night was my first dose. And dosage-wise, many of you know I've been through an egg retrieval before. And the last time I did an egg retrieval, they used Follow-Stim and Menopur. And they started me out on a lower dose. I was doing okay, but then they upped it, and then I was doing good. So this time they started out with that upped dose that I had done previously, which was 150 units of Follow-Stim and 150 units of Menopur. And once I started stimming, my Lupron was dropped down to 5 units of Lupron. That's the suppressant medicine. Prior to stimming, if I recall, it was at 20 units. That's pretty normal. The Lupron amounts are pretty much the normal amounts that most people get. All right, so Monday, the 24th, was the first stimming night, so it was 3 shots. At that point, it needed to be 3 shots in the belly every night. And they had me go in for my first scan. I want to say it was that Thursday. Actually, I take that back, because Thursday was Thanksgiving in the United States. They had me going on Friday, on Black Friday, and I had to be there at, I think it was like 9 a.m., so that wasn't too bad. Most of the crazy shopping people were done doing their thing, because this clinic actually isn't that far from a major mall in my area. So I was thankful for the timing on that one. And on that first scan on the 29th, we were doing good. We had 5 follicles on the left and 5 follicles on the right. I don't remember what their measurements were at that point, but they were like middle of the road. We'll just go middle of the road. After that, my next scan was on Sunday, the 30th, because at that time they had me going in every other day. All right. And that's normal. Normally they have you in for a scan every other day. When you get towards the end, they have you start going in once a day. So on Sunday the 30th, I didn't get my normal girl. I got like one of the skeleton crew kind of nurses. And normally I get the same nurse all the time, unless I have to go on a Sunday. And the people on a Sunday, they don't seem quite as thorough to me, or it may be because she saw I suddenly had a lot of follicles going on that she didn't want to hurt me. And the regular nurse kind of knows what I can deal with and what I can't. Anyhow, she saw 10 on the left and 10 on the right, with the largest follicle being 13 millimeters at that point. Those numbers may or may not have been off, because she was being careful. But I was pretty happy with that. We suddenly had like some pretty good growth going on there. So that night, as it turned out, the doctor lowered all of my doses to 100 units of Follow-Stim and 75 units of Menopur. Now, I believe 75 units on Menopur is the lowest you can go, because it comes in powder vials of 75 units each. You have to mix it yourself with the liquid, so I would think it wouldn't be as precise or as easy to like do half a vial or a partial injection. So I'm thinking 75 is the lowest. If anybody else out there knows that, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe somebody out here would be interested in that. Anyhow, so they lowered it. And I went in on Monday, October 1st, and I had 10 on the left and 13 on the right with follicles. And the largest ones had jumped 16 millimeters and 18 millimeters. Now, 18 millimeters is considered mature. So that was quite a jump, even though they had lowered my medicine. So, moral of the story is, cycle to cycle is definitely different. I was stimming really, really good this time. Not to say that last time was bad. I did stim well, but they had to keep adjusting it up. And this time they had to keep adjusting it down. So by that day on Monday, I will say, with the amount of follicles and the growth that they were having, I was really starting to feel the bloat. My stomach was very distended. Eating the smallest thing, drinking the smallest thing made me feel like there was no room down there. The nurses at that point told me to start on the Gatorade right away. Now, a lot of times the nurses would tell you Gatorade, salt, high protein. The idea is try and get the water out of your system and to get the bloat down. Gatorade has electrolytes and, as you may or may not know, is loaded with sodium, so it's good for bloat. So, Gatorade it was. I went out and bought a bunch of these. My husband went out and bought a bunch of these. That day, Monday and Tuesday, I drank 2 of these, which is like 64 ounces. That's a lot of Gatorade in one day. So 64 ounces of Gatorade on Monday, 64 ounces of Gatorade on Tuesday. By Tuesday afternoon, it was really helping. So don't discount the power of Gatorade if you're out there and listening to this and going through stimming. Gatorade is your friend. One other thing on the Gatorade, I don't have it with me, but I'll put a picture up here or something. My husband found the craziest Gatorade I'd ever seen. Lime cucumber. Now, I'll let you think about that for a second. Lime cucumber Gatorade. You open it up and it smells like liquid cucumber. Really, it does. And it tastes like someone juiced cucumbers with lime and salt on them, which was oddly refreshing. It was one of those flavors that was good, but my taste buds were very confused. It didn't sound like it should taste good, but it did. All right, enough with the side note there. So, on Monday night, the 1st, after I went in and they saw the follicles at 16 and 18, despite lowering the dose, they lowered the dose again to 75 units of Menopur, because like I said, I'm pretty sure that's the lowest, so that one stayed the same. But they lowered the FollowStim to 75. So, I asked what the deal was with that, and they said they just didn't want them to grow too quickly, too fast, because even with taking the shots and the medicine, if they get too big, they could go on their own, and that wouldn't be a good thing with an egg retrieval. So, at that point, I was on the second lower dose. I went in on Tuesday, and the growth was, they were still telling me 10 follicles on the left, 13 follicles on the right. Only this time we now had numerous follicles that were mature. Now mature is considered 18 millimeters or higher. And I believe I had 4 measuring at 18 millimeters at that point. And then I had to go in again on Wednesday. So like I said, when you get towards the end, they make you go every day. So I had to go on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the scans. And on Wednesday, at that point, we had numerous that were mature, and we had a few that were at 20 millimeters at that point. So that day, they gave me all the information on the pre-op, and they said more than likely that my trigger was going to be on Thursday night. But they did tell me there was a small chance that the doctor could try and push me one more day to try and get more, knowing that we were doing PGD, and our PGD is out of pocket. I will get to that in a minute. When they know you're doing that, they try to get as much bang for your buck, so to speak, which I think is great. But honestly, at that point, I was feeling like I was going to burst if he would have pushed us one more day. He didn't. I did end up getting information on my portal late that afternoon. You guys have heard me say this before. They always make you wait till the end of the day to get the results. And the trigger was officially on December 4th at 8:30. You know, I just realized that I've been saying October the entire time. All these dates are December. Obviously, December. Sorry. I had my little note. Look at this. I wrote down 10/4. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I need more time to prepare for Christmas is what I'm thinking. Anyhow, on December 4th, this last Thursday, my trigger was at 8:30 at night. And the retrieval was set for today. Retrieval was today. Saturday, December 6th at 7:30 in the morning. We were bright and up early with the birds. We might have been up with the squirrels because squirrels get up before birds, in case you're ever wondering. And I have some other things to say here, but before I make you wait any longer, when I got out of the retrieval, the nurses, they like writing down the number that you get. They don't like saying it out loud, and they tell you, don't like make too many loud, reactions, whether they be good or bad, because it was either one or two other girls there having retrievals that day also, and they don't want to upset anybody because obviously some people get less, some people get more. So she wrote this down. I'm going to cover it up. She wrote this down on a napkin and she put it on my lap because I was still a little out of it. So she wrote it down and put it on my lap just in case I like forgot, right? All right, you guys ready? You guys ready? Who's placing bets? How many did I get? Last retrieval, I got 12. We didn't end up with 12 by the end of the game, so to speak. We ended up with 7 by the time we got to day 5 of growth. But last time I ended up with 12 at the retrieval. So how many did I get this time? 15! We got 15. I was like amazed. That's awesome. That is awesome. So proof to show every cycle is different. Technically my AMH was lower this time. That's my egg reserve. Last time my egg reserve was 3.1. This time it's 2.5. But I responded better, almost too well, to the stimming meds. And I ended up getting 15. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to end up with 15 embryos. All right. Sometime tomorrow, hopefully, because tomorrow's a Sunday, sometime tomorrow I should receive a phone call. They'll tell me how many of those eggs were mature. Sometimes you get lucky and all of them were mature, but a lot of the times you don't. Last time I had some that weren't mature, so I'm expecting that. All right, so they should call me and tell me how many of those 15 eggs were mature, and they should tell me how many of the ones that were mature fertilized. So last time we got 12. There were 10 that mature. There were 8 that fertilized. We lost 1 towards the very, very end of the 5-day growth. So that's what's next. What's next is for them to tell me how many were mature, how many fertilized. Should know that tomorrow. And in 5 days from now, I will know how many lasted through 5-day growth. Before I get into that, retrieval. I have a couple comments about the retrieval. All right, this is the second retrieval I went through. There were some differences. Now, there is one particular drug they do not give me, that is, the name escapes me, that has to do with anesthesia because I technically have a small allergy to soy and to egg whites. It doesn't cause me to stop breathing or have anaphylactic shock or anything. It just kind of sinusy issues. They don't like risking it, so they don't give it to me. Last time, when they didn't give that to me, I heard all the conversations going on around me in the retrieval, and I remembered them. Now, I wasn't awake, but for some reason I could hear all the conversations around me. And I mentioned that to the anesthesia nurse this time, and she said that's kind of common because of the one thing that she wasn't able to give me. And I even said, hey, last time, remember there was a nurse here who was retiring to Arizona? Go figure, Fee loves Arizona. And they're like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. Funny you should mention that. That did not happen this time. I didn't really hear anything going on around me while I was in there. So again, everything's different from time to time, I guess. The other thing I will say that I'm noticing right off the bat today, all right, because your ovaries, when you go to stim, and if you stim well, your ovaries are normally about that big, like the size of a marble. If you're stimming well, they're about the size of your fists, and I'm sure that's probably around where mine are because I really can feel them. Obviously, they're not very happy right now because they aerate them and poke them with a needle to get the eggs out, so they're probably quite angry right now. I'm expecting that. But prior to the retrieval, I felt like I had to pee every 10 minutes. And there really wasn't anything to pee, so to speak. Very little. But I kept feeling I felt like I was 8 months pregnant and I had to pee all the time. But there was nothing there to show for it. After the retrieval, Again, that was today. I've probably went to the bathroom 10 times to pee, and it was like racehorse quality, if you get my meaning. So I don't know if drinking all that Gatorade is now helping me to get rid of some of the bloat and the extra water. I'm going to continue drinking the Gatorade today and hope and pray that I don't end up with all the bloat problems that I had last time. Last time, by tomorrow, I also ended up with a bladder problem. I'm not feeling any of that yet, knock on wood. Hopefully that'll stay good. So again, do not discount the power of Gatorade. That's all I'm saying. And protein. I've been doing high protein. What else? What else? So right now there is some pain. Like I said, nothing crazy. They tell me I can take Tylenol. I haven't taken anything. I also, TMI warning, you guys know this already, right? All this is TMI. I don't have any bleeding right now. I don't know if it's normal to bleed. I didn't bleed last time. I didn't bleed this time. But it's a pretty well-known fact with me that apparently I have the uterus of steel, because even the HSG test didn't make me bleed, and that one is known to make people bleed. So I don't know. I don't know if that's normal or otherwise. All right. So other than that, PGD. Here's the deal with PGD. All right, once we get to day 5 of growth, day 5 or 6, whoever's still with us, they will all get biopsied at that point, and it will be sent to my lab. And it takes 8 to 12 business days to get back. So we've got some holidays coming up, so we'll see if I get the good news before or after Christmas. Not really sure. I did the counting. Sounds like it might be borderline. Last time I left you, I told you I wasn't sure how we were paying for the PGD. We did end up paying for the PGD out of pocket. That is $3,000 for up to 8 embryos to be tested. That does not include the biopsy fees for my regular IVF clinic. That was $1,200. And that one also is for up to 8. So, good news, bad news. If we get more than 8, I'm going to have to pay more money. It comes down to $75 each extra per extra embryo. I can talk sometimes. Per extra embryo, it's $75 extra to biopsy, $250 to test. The reason why we went out of pocket with this, I explained in my last video, I'll try and remember to link it below, about the differences between paying out of pocket and the differences between saying, try and bill my insurance, and they, sorry, my voice is doing weird stuff right now, and the amount that they actually charge the insurance, which is always higher. If you're paying out of pocket, they always discount. So if I would have said, try and charge my insurance, try and get them to pay, if the insurance said no, I would have had to pay the $4,000 versus the $3,000 up front, and I don't get that $1,000 difference back. So that was quite a gamble. So I did some research. I asked some questions to the nurse. I asked some questions to the lab. Originally, in my mind, I was thinking, hey, we can prove infertility on my end. We can prove infertility on my husband's end. I've had 2 miscarriages. One was a blighted ovum, which they assumed to be chromosomal issues. I was thinking that would have been enough. But here's the deal. While a lot of people can't get this covered, if you have awesome insurance, most of the time it requires you to either be a known carrier of a chromosomal problem, or to already have a child with a chromosomal defect, or to have had a miscarriage or D&C that was karyotyped with a proven issue. On all 3 of those, I strike out. Yes, I have MTHFR, but that's not really one of the genetic things they're looking for. What they would have seen if they would have looked at us is both my husband and I screened negative for the CF carrier gene, which is a good thing, don't get me wrong, but CF runs in his family, so they would have seen that we were both thankfully negative. They would also see that I don't have a child, let alone a child with a chromosomal issue like Down syndrome, and I don't have any karyotyping that proved issues. I did do karyotyping in my last miscarriage. It came up as female and normal. Now, the thing about karyotyping is that's not 100% unless it's male and abnormal or male and normal. That last one is kind of iffy because if any of your blood gets mixed in with the test, female and positive could really mean that they were testing you on accident. So, bottom line is, the nurse told me it would be really hard to get it covered. The lab told me it would be really hard to get it covered. I just didn't feel like playing that game. So I put out the $3,000 in advance. It had to be paid in advance to the egg retrieval. If there's any extra we have to pay, I'm sure it will have to be before they release the results. And we will know in 5 or 6 days if we have more than 8 that I have to worry about paying for. So that's the info on the PG. And one other thing, I have to mention this to you guys. All right, you guys know we're throwing everything we've got at this. And my husband did something pretty awesome. He went caffeine-free all week. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, great. Well, here's the deal. All right, he's a caffeine fiend. That's very, very hard for him to do. And he did it, and I didn't even ask him to do it. I asked him to lower his caffeine or to try and go half calf, and he ended up going no calf all week long, and the man made it. So, hopefully, his swimmers will be that much better. That's it. That's all I got. I will talk to you guys as soon as I get some results. I promise I won't make you wait this long. Like I said, hopefully I should have some answers tomorrow. I should have some more answers in about 5 days. I will get back on here and let you guys know. For now, hoping, praying, this is going to work. For all you guys out there that are going through something, I want to throw some baby dust at you. I want to throw some baby dust at TTC, known as Miss Martin 76, is it? Yes, she just had her FET. This is going to work, girl. And that's it. Keep the faith, keep the prayers, keep the hope. This is going to work for all of us soon. Soon. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Talk to you later.